right, y'all. So I got this tree. It's a grafted tree, or back in the spring. It is half key lime and half Meyer lemon. And I have my first ripe limes. Look at this right here. They're heavy, and when you smell them, they have a strong lime smell, zesty smell. So these two are ripe. Look at how heavy they are. And then this one's close, but not quite. And then, of course, that one's not yet. That one's not yet. And then there's another one over here. Not yet ripe, still growing. And then over on this side, I have a couple little baby lemons. Meyer lemons right there. There's one there. Which branch are you coming off of? So that's supposed to be a lime or a lemon too. There's another little baby one over there. But I can pick my very first limes, y'all. So as you just saw, yesterday for me, I hit the road coming to Alabama, and I was going to get a video clip of me crossing over the Alabama state line, but right as I was approaching it, I had a phone call come in, so I missed that one. But I am here in Alabama, and you know, it was another one of those extremely stressful trips. You know, I don't mind hauling a U-Haul trailer, not a big deal. But when I am hauling my animals, I am so tense, like the whole time, because I feel like they're exposed. Because, you know, they're not in the truck with me. They're out there where someone might not pay attention and run into them, or, you know, I feel like they're exposed. So the whole time I'm traveling with animals, my whole body is so tense. I was actually so tense that my chest and my back hurt, like they ache from the tension. So I will be so glad when it's all done. Yesterday, I brought in the goats, so there's now no more goats in Arkansas at our homestead. All that is left is Sophie and Amos, you know, our mini donkey and mule, or Hinny. And then the big trip with all the animals and the big U-Haul and pretty much everything else we own. So we are nearing the end. So I got them there at our friend's yesterday evening, got them settled, and then this morning I ran to get feed, not only for the goats, you know, I wanted to fill up their feed cans before I head back to Arkansas. And so I went to my old stomping grounds where I used to always get my feed. And that is Chambers in Coleman. I like to get the non-GMO feed. It's actually made here in Alabama. It's called Nature Crest. It's made by Tucker Milling. They have a really good feed, and that's what we used to use when we lived here previously. And so I also needed to get the special minerals that is formulated for in Alabama. It's called Shegog Goat Minerals, and I'm sure there's lots of places that carry it, but I knew that Chambers did, so I just went there, picked up the minerals, the feed, and all of that good stuff, and then I headed up to our friend's house to check in on the goats, see how they were doing, and fill the feed cans, spread out the wood shavings that I got for the barn, and all that good stuff. Hi, babies! Look at them running. Hi, honeys. Oh, hi. Are you having fun? Huh? Hi, Chin Chin. Hi, baby. Hi, Franny. Hi, Jessie. Hi, Addie. Hi, Nancy. I know. You don't want to be touched. Oh. Welcome back. Hi, babies. All right, let's get you some bedding in here. Hi, Chin Chin. All right, y'all. So I'm at my friend Pam's house. She is my friend who I've known for years. We used to be neighbors way back when. And she and her husband are goat sitting for us and donkey sitting. Amos and Sophie will be here soon, probably in a week or two. Because they've got this beautiful barn, they've got multiple fenced pastures, and so they were super excited because they also want to have goats and a donkey. And so this will give them a little bit of practice while they are, getting settled in their home. But I went and picked up wood shavings, so we're getting ready to spread all those out inside the great big stall for the goats. So Nancy's sitting there in the shade, but they can go in and out of their stall. They've got their hay rack in here. They've got their feed pans. It's nice and cool in here. There's airflow. And so it's a nice, great area for the goats in the meantime. So the goats are super happy and totally settling in. I've got to charge my trailer lights. So these are wireless trailer lights. We actually rewired our entire trailer, our livestock trailer, before we left Alabama, but it's been sitting there, not moving for 3.5 years. And we kind of think some mice maybe chewed on some wires or something, because the lights don't work anymore, even though they were all brand new. So we got these wireless ones. There's a piece that hooks into the hitch, the plug for the hitch. And then these have like super strong magnets. And so it just sticks to the trailer. It's got a left one and a right one. And we take, now it comes with these little metal cables, but they're kind of a pain to take on and take off all the time. So I just use zip ties. We put a little zip tie through the frame of it right there. And then I have a zip tie on the trailer, and then we just zip tie them together. And that's just in case you go over like some crazy, terrible bump and it jars them and they come loose, but they haven't come loose. So, the zip tie would catch them if they, got knocked off or something. But I'm just gonna go ahead and charge these. They have like a 9-hour run time or something like that, which is more than enough. And I think that's like if you are running with your lights going the whole time. So if it's like they're actually on that whole time, I think that's the 9 hours. But when you're driving during the day, you don't have them on constantly. And so, they've not even gotten halfway down from their charge on our trips my trips that I've done with the animals, which is about 9-10 hours each time. But I've got to take the trailer back to Arkansas so that we can then load it up again for one more trip to Alabama. And then we will be done moving animals. And the only other time we'll have to move them is when we bring them here from their houses. Our friends who are so graciously watching them for it. Although I will say that Ms. Pam said, you may have a hard time taking them home because we might want to try and keep them. They love the goats already. They haven't even been there 24 hours and they are just smitten with them. Goats are fun. And I know some people just hate goats. It's a love them or hate them situation. I love my goats. I love them. They're fun. They're a lot of fun. Even the one, there's two that never really warmed up to us. They're the ones that we got when we got Sophie. And they were super sweet with their previous owners, but even though we've had them for years, they have never warmed up to us. Addie will occasionally let me pet her. Nancy will only come to me, only let me get anywhere near her if I have treats in my hand. If I have goat treats, then she'll come to me. But other than that, she don't want to be touched. And she's kind of struggling right now. She has something called stiff leg syndrome. And she's been dealing with it for a bit. And we've been working on her, trying to slow the progression of it. It's been a struggle for her. but she's doing a little bit better. But anyways, yeah, we're excited. We think the contractors will be done with their stuff at the house this week. And then there's like 2 or 3 things left at the house for us to do. And then just work on getting it on the market and do like the big cleanup. Get rid of all the junk that's been left over from projects and everything else. Big cleanup, and it'll be going on the market before too long. And then hopefully Mr. Smith's work schedule will cooperate, because he hasn't traveled in a bit, and it looks like the travel's starting to pick up. So hopefully none of that will interfere with us finishing our move here. But every time I leave this house, it's getting harder and harder to leave, because I don't want to leave. I'm ready. I'm tired. I'm tired of moving. I'm ready for it to be done. But this is, Lord willing, the very last time we will do this. But, oh, my little sun catcher. Isn't that pretty? I got that at a little shop in Arkansas. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see things progressing. I'm excited to see our to-do list in Arkansas shrinking next to nothing. There's just a couple things left. Very excited. So anyways, that is the update for this week. In my next video, I've had several people asking me about, well, I've been asked, like, do I pray over my home when we move in, and things like that. And yes, I do. I've done that for years. I pray over my home, I anoint it, there's all these things that I do. And I've had a lot of questions about that. There's actually something new that I'm going to do with this property that I have not done in the past, but I will be discussing that in my next video. So you can look forward to that on Wednesday. So with that, y'all, that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here today. God bless, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Oh, real quick. There's one other thing I wanted to share with y'all as I walk down to check the mail. Now, of course, everybody has to deal with weeds. Sometimes growing in places you don't want them to grow, like cracks in your driveway. But you don't need to buy toxic stuff to kill that. Now, I have a recipe on my website for a homemade weed killer that works great. But this driveway had massive weeds growing up in the cracks that looked like bushes. They were so big. And as you can see, there's hardly anything there now. And all I used was cleaning vinegar. Now I've got a couple coming back. There's one right there. There's like some little ones here and there. But these things were full, absolutely full of weeds. Especially this crack. This whole thing was like a giant shrub going all the way across. And it's been weeks since I did it. All of these were completely dead. There was nothing there. Now there's little bits coming back. And so all it was is vinegar. I can just spray it down with my spray bottle, and those will be dead in an hour or two. Completely crunchy. Matter of fact, you can see some right here. This is what just straight up cleaning vinegar will do. Now, you could probably dilute it, but honestly, I was just in a hurry that day and didn't dilute it, and it killed it. So, you don't need to use toxic, dangerous chemicals to kill weeds. Just use some vinegar. Yeah, you might have to do it in a few weeks again, but a lot of times you have to do that with Roundup and stuff like that anyways. Be safe. All right, that's it. God bless y'all. I'll talk to y'all next time.